يا ذا الأسماء الحسنى يا خالقنا غفرانا نسألك وأنت الأسماء نأمل عفوك سبحانك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Asma'ullah al-Husna Nisaf Ramadan now, and we are starting continuing with the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. So we've covered, and if you have remembered, any of you guys have put some time in trying to remember the Asma'ullah al-Husna? Yes? No? Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور. Guys, come on. الغفار القهار الوهاب الفتاح العليم القابض. العليم القابض. So the الفتاح العليم القابض. We're going to discover these names inshallah today. The first of these names is Al-Fattah, the one who opens, and he is the great opener. Al-Fattah. Fataha yaftahu means to open, and Fattah is mubalagha, which means that he's a great opener. He has great powers to open. Now when you say open, normally when you say something to us about opening, we'd think about opening a door, opening a can, opening one's house to somebody else. But Allah Azza wa Jal, His opening goes beyond that. His opening goes beyond that. Because Allah Azza wa Jal, He has the ghaib and He has the unseen in His hands. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He has said in the Holy Quran, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. Allah has all the keys of opening. See, miftah in Arabic means an element or a tool to open. So a key is a tool to open. You have, for example, a person who has a swiping card. A swiping card, so a person basically can open a door. Whatever it is to open something else, this is called a miftah. An element or tool to open. Mafatih is the plural of miftah. So it means that these are many different tools to open. So all the different tools to open the unseen, mafatihul ghaib. Mafatihul ghaib means the different things to open the unseen. La ya'lamuha illahu. Nobody knows them except for Him. Nobody knows all of this except for Him. This is in Surah Al-An'am, ayah number 59. Nobody knows them except for Him. وَعِنْدَهُ. So to Allah belongs all the tools to open anything of the unseen, and He has them, and nobody even knows what they are except for Him. He is the sole possessor of those of the unseen. Now the unseen is what? Al-Ghaib is that which is hidden from the eyes of the human beings and the jinn, that which is not present also from ourselves. So I can't see the angels now, you can't see the angels, that's the ghaib. I can't see the akhirah now, you can't see the akhirah, that's the ghaib. I can't see Allah Azza wa Jalla, I can't see anything that's been hidden from me, if they're fawqa samawati or from above the heavens and below the earth, I don't know, I can't see, so it's the ghaib. Allah has the keys to open all of those. So for example, Allah Azza wa Jal, He has the ability to open whatever comes from the skies to the earth and the earth to the sky. Now there are many doorways that close the universe. The universe has got doors. Right above the end of space there are doors there, nobody can go through, nobody can come down except with the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. So He has the element to open up that. With His hukum, with His command, the angels will open those doors or will close those doors and allow the angels to come, other angels to come or other angels to pass by. They have the ability to do that. Nobody else has that ability to do that. Not only that, this is only one element, which is to open the doorways of the heavens and to let them in. Allah Azza wa Jal has the opening of every seed. You have many seeds in the ground. Which seed will sprout? Which seed will open? Which seed will give birth to a tree? Allah has the power to do that. Allah has the power to open up any part of the earth. He has the power to open up water when He wants. From beneath the earth, the water will come and it will come onto the earth. He has the power to do that. So there are many times when you find that there's no water, suddenly Allah from a rock, when you have nothing at all on that rock, and it's the ghaib, it's the unseen, it's within the earth, Allah Azza wa Jal from a rock He will bring water out. Anybody who's been to Makkah al-Mukarramah in the early days and you were able to go downstairs, Alhamdulillah, I've had the opportunity to go downstairs. This is some time before, but now they've closed it all up. But you can see the water of Zamzam coming right from the walls. There are certain rocks, walls, from which Zamzam is coming out automatically. And this is Allah's ghaib, miftahul ghaib. Allah has opened that. So Fattah, the one who opens things. So He opens Zamzam, He opened many different rivers, He opens many different streams. He opens the mind. The mind has got so many cells, and a person can't think of ideas. If Allah wanted to give me all the ideas of inventing things, He could give it to me right now. But He will only select. He's the Fattah, He's the one who opens. So to give ideas to someone, to open their mind to something, to make them do the right thing at the right time, to make them think the right thing at the right time, to make that process of the brain to do that, this is Fattah. This is the one who opens things. Normally when a person learns one subject and then a person learns another area of life, each area of life, each subject is different. It's a different area. So for example, you might learn history and you might learn something else as a subject. You might learn maybe, you might be in real life. But for a historical incident, to take a lesson from a historical incident in the very time you are. So let's say today I'm going through a crisis, or I'm in a political situation. For me to have my mind open to a historical lesson, and for that to be a lesson for me today right now, this is only the work of the Fattah. He can only open the connection between two different subjects. They've done a lot of tests on this, and they found that people, they tend to be very good at one subject, very good at another subject, but to link two subjects together and to move from one to another, to, for example, from psychology to history, from philosophy to psychology, from psychology to another one, to make the connections and to be able to see the patterns of knowledge in one and the other. This is only the work of the Fattah. One can't do that except for the Fattah. To open hearts is the Fattah. He is the great opener, and He will open hearts to the truth, open our minds to the truth and accepting the truth and so on. And of course He's the Hadi who gives guidance and so on. But Allah Azza wa Jal being the Fattah, He has many different things that He will open. مَا يَفْتَحِ اللَّهُ مِنْ رَحْمَةٍ. For example, His Rahmah in Surah Fatir, Allah has said in the second ayah of Surah Fatir, مَا يَفْتَحِ اللَّهُ مِنْ رَحْمَةٍ فَلَا مُمْسِكَ لَهَا. When Allah Azza wa Jal, He decides to open His rahmah, His mercy onto something and send His mercy, this is called an opening. He opens the mercy and He allows the mercy to travel, to come down. When He does that, Allah says, فَلَا مُمْسِكَ لَهَا. There is not a single thing or a creature or anyone that can stop the mercy of Allah from coming down and reaching something. Nothing. La mumsika. Nothing can hold it. Nothing can stop it. فَلَا مُمْسِكَ لَهَا. وَمَا يُمْسِكْ. Whatever Allah holds, there's nothing. فَلَا مُرْسِلَ لَهَا. Nothing can release it. This is in Surah Al-Fatir, 35th Surah, ayah number 2. Nothing can hold it. So in this ayah in Surah Fatir, Allah has said that He opens the rahmah. Allah's rahmah is something that can be opened and it can be closed. And He's the one that can do that. So that's another aspect of this name, which Allah Azza wa Jal, He controls that from the unseen. And what we do is, when we want something to open to ourselves, what we do is we ask Allah Azza wa Jal for that help. We ask Allah for that help. We ask Him to open things for us. One of the things that Allah does is He opens the truth between people. So for example, for you to have a good argument and for you to overcome your adversary with a good argument, that Allah has. Allah is the only one that has the power to do that. This is Surah Saba, Surah number 34, ayah number 26. Allah Azza wa Jal said to His Prophet, He said, "O Prophet, say this to me, make this dua. يَجْمَعُ بَيْنَنَا رَبُّنَا." Tell these people that Allah is the one that will bring us together. Allah will bring us together. ثُمَّ يَفْتَحُ بَيْنَنَا بِالْحَقِّ. And then Allah Azza wa Jal will be the one that will open the truth between us. So those who denied the messengers, Allah will bring them with those who were the messengers. He will bring them both on the Day of Judgment. And then He will open and reveal the truth. He will open that truth. وَهُوَ الْفَتَّاحُ الْعَلِيمُ. He is the one who is the great opener, and He is the one who knows all. So both these qualities, He knows all, He opens all. That is when Allah opens the truth. Now the truth can remain closed. The truth, if Allah wants, can remain closed to somebody's heart and to somebody's eyes. But it is only Allah Azza wa Jalla that will do that. Now, Shu'aib alayhi salam, when his people told him, leave this city, otherwise, or leave the truth, leave the revelation that was given to you, leave that. Otherwise, we're going to stone you to death. And then he said, what am I going to leave this truth that Allah has said? I'm going to leave that because of the threat that you're giving me. Then he made dua to Allah. He said, رَبَّنَا افْتَحْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ قَوْمِنَا بِالْحَقِّ. Oh Allah, رَبَّنَا افْتَحْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ قَوْمِنَا بِالْحَقِّ. This is in the beginning of the 9th juz of the Quran. Anyone who's in a political situation and they find that people are not accepting the truth, or they're being very stubborn, they know the truth, they hear the truth, they see the truth, but they don't accept the truth. There are many people like that in the world. They know the truth, the truth has entered their heart, they've seen the truth, they've heard the truth, they know it's the truth, but they still don't want to accept the truth. There are Muslims like that. There are Muslims who, when you want to tell them to do something which is good, there are certain Muslims who play games with you. And they don't want to accept it because their whims and their desires and their ego is in the way. And it's an obstacle. There are non-Muslims who are like that. It says that there are many people that you will find that the truth hasn't opened to them. And what I want to say to you is that if you're in a similar situation where you've got families, relatives, others who you want the truth to open to, then this is the dua to make, which is رَبَّنَا افْتَحْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ قَوْمِنَا بِالْحَقِّ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْفَاتِحِينَ. Oh Allah, oh my Lord, open the truth between me and my people. Open it. Between me and my people, open it. وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْفَاتِحِينَ. You are the one who's the best in opening the truth. And He is the one, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is the only one that can do that. There is no one else that has the power to open the truth. No matter how much you try, it is only Fattah. You know, the only one who can open it. Now, the ulama, as I've said to you before, with all of these names, they've said to us that each of the name holds a secret. You don't have to find a hadith to use each of these names. These names are there for us to call Him from the Quran. Allah said, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. To Allah belongs all the beautiful names. All the beautiful names to Allah belongs. So what do? You're supposed to call Him. Allah says, فَادْعُوهُ, call me through these names. Now what do? When you find a situation where you need an opening, say, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah. And you will see Allah Azza wa Jalla, whatever it is, whatever you need opening, whatever you need. Maybe it's a job that you want these people to accept you in. Maybe you want to get into some place. Whatever it is, use the name Al-Fattah, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will open that way for you. Any of these names that will be covered, you will, if you find that there's a meaning for you in your life, you can say it and Allah will open it for you. Now after Fattah, after Allah's name Fattah is the name Al-Aleem. Al-Aleem, the one who knows everything, the one who knows the seen, the unseen, whatever there is in the existence to know, Allah knows that. Now Allah's knowledge, this next sifah of Allah, this next attribute of Allah being Al-Alim and knowing, it means He knows all, everything and anything He knows. Now it's easy to say that Allah knows everything, but sometimes it's difficult to try and comprehend what He knows. And our building of Iman lies on the second thing. It's not good just you saying that, I know Allah knows everything. It's not good to say that. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's not going to be enough. What you need to do is you need to start exploring what does Allah know. That's how the Iman increases. A lot of people, what they do is they've read the names once. I know what this name means. That's it, I know Allah's name. No. You're supposed to sit down and you're supposed to ponder over these names. So Al-Aleem, which means what? Which means that from His knowledge, He passes knowledge to the creation. From His knowledge, He passes to the creation. Now, one thing that makes me baffled is how the human being has got such a limited mind. Human being has got such a limited mind. And all the human beings together have got such limited minds. Even the whole world together. Every day you look into a scientific magazine, every week you look at a scientific magazine, they've explored something new. They've explored something new. They've got a new breakthrough. They've got a new thing. Today I was just reading, or was it today? Yesterday I was reading about, how they might genetically pass from 3 different human beings to one embryo. They might put that in so that that particular child that might have a disease, they might, give him a chance to survive. It's going to be a thing that is haram, but nevertheless, they're always discovering something new. But Allah has said one thing in the Quran, and He will say this to them on the Day of Judgment. He has already declared this in the Quran. Allah said, بَلْ كَذَّبُوا بِمَا لَمْ يُحِيطُوا بِهِ عِلْمًا وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمُوا تَأْوِيلَهُ. Allah said they have denied, all the people in the world, whatever they've denied of Islam, they've denied of the Quran, they've denied of Iman. Allah said they've denied all of this when they haven't yet discovered everything about it. Their knowledge hasn't become complete on the matter. Their knowledge hasn't surrounded every detailed aspect of that thing. So how is it that they've denied this? Now, for example, if I say to you, that I say to you, look, I've never been to America, so I'm going to deny America. I've never seen America. I've heard of America, fine, but I've never seen America. I'm going to deny. Now you're going to call me, someone who's losing. I'm going to say, no. I'm going to say to you, no, I haven't seen America, so I'm not going to believe in America. I need to travel to America. The day I travel to America, I'll believe it. It's the same as people who are saying that I have not seen life after death. So unless I see life after death myself, I'm not going to believe it. Now, okay, some people might say, well, their argument isn't the same, because from America people can come back and say that I've come back from America and it does exist. But from the Akhirah people can't come back. However, the messengers, salawatullah alayhim wasalamu, have actually traveled and they've come back. And Allah would not give everyone the opportunity to do that. The point is, you can go on denying and denying, and you can ask for evidence. But one thing is absolutely sure, which is that even if you gather the evidence, even if you have a lot of evidence, you still will go through a lot to gather all of that, to try and deny it. But how is it that you're denying something which could be the truth? How is it that you're denying something that could be the truth, and you're never going to get the opportunity to get all the information of the Akhirah, to see everything, to see Allah? Allah's not going to do that. Okay, fine, with America, you can travel to America. You can book your ticket, go over there, see it, come back, and I believe in America now. Fine. Allah said you can't come to the Akhirah. Once you come to the Akhirah, you want to commit suicide and get back there, you're not going to come back. You can't come back. There's only one way. Why? Because this is a test. So now, what have you got in front of you? You've got the Quran, you've got the Messenger's lives, you've got the resources in front of you, you've got all the arguments, and you need to pick up the Quran and read it. Read it for yourself and see whether you accept it or whether you deny this. Now the ilm of Allah Azza wa Jal that He has passed down to us, that ilm of Allah Azza wa Jal is complete, but the human's own ilm and his own knowledge is incomplete. This is what the problem is. There's no problem with Allah. There's no problem with the Quran. See, scientists discover the Quran. Scientists discover science, But when they come to the Quran, or when others come to the Quran, their knowledge, their own knowledge is limited. Even limited to the extent that mufassirin, mufassirin, those who do tafsir of the Quran, till today there are mufassirin who are seeing new things in the Quran. Tafsir has not ended. When Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he sat down and he did his tafsir. There were so many mufassir before him. But Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he did his tafsir in a new way. Allah opened his mind, He gave him the knowledge to do his tafsir of his Quran in a new way. Before him, there has been so many different ones. Ibn Abbas rahimahullah, he had already done, radiyallahu anhuma, he had already done his tafsir. Then came the Imam Mujahid, he did his tafsir in a different way that his ustad didn't do. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma. Then came the tafsir of these early mufassirin who did the tafsir, and they did ahkam al-Quran and so on. Ibn Kathir rahimahullah came. But what about Qurtubi's tafsir? It's different. Imam Qurtubi's tafsir is different. Imam Suyuti's tafsir is different. Imam Suyuti in the 9th century came, 1 century after Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. And he did a tafsir of the Quran al-Itqan. If you look at it, you think, Ya Allah, where did he get this knowledge from? Honestly, if you read Al-Itqan, if you read his tafsir of Al-Itqan and the way he has explained the notes on the Quran and the meanings of the Quran, it absolutely amazes you. And that's why they call him the Mujaddid, they call him the reviver of that century. Now before Ibn Kathir, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he had left a tafsir. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he's got his tafsir. Imam Razi has got his tafsir. All of these are all different. Imam Razi did more from a philosophical side. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he did it from his own studies of the Quran, and most of this opened to him when he was in prison. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he did it in his own way. But when it came to Ibn Kathir, he did it from the Sunnah. He mainly looked at the Sunnah and he did his tafsir. When it came to Imam Suyuti, he did it from the Lugha, or from the language, he did his tafsir. Then after that, you see that a new age comes. And new mufassirin come, and they do tafsir again. Then you had Sayyid Qutb, he did his tafsir about 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, he did his tafsir. Fi Zilal al-Quran, in the shade of the Quran. Complete new way of doing his tafsir. His book is not like any of the other books before. He did it from a political situation, he did tafsir. Now subhanallah al-azim, one book, the Quran. And each one of these, they're all doing their tafsirs in a different way. Till today it hasn't finished. I have a tafsir home done by Imam Wahbat al-Zuhaili, who spent 40 years doing this tafsir. He's still alive. 40 years doing one tafsir of the Quran, and he's got it in 32 volumes. This is a recent scholar. What he's done is he's gathered from all the different ones before, and then he added his own tafsir inside. And he's got, mashallah, a brilliant way of looking at the Quran and doing his tafsir. It's now how many? It's now altogether how many? It's 32 different volumes of the tafsir. But it hasn't ended there. Because even till today, there are scholars who are writing on the tafsir. They are making their new tafsir of the Quran, and it will not end. Now the fact is, look, Allah's Quran that He gave, and His ilm and His knowledge is complete. This Quran, one book He gave, people are still bringing new knowledge out, new tafsir out all the time. And Allah has told us, وَلَمْ يُحِيطُوا بِهَا عِلْمًا, their knowledge hasn't surrounded the Quran, so how is it that they deny the Quran? Scientists on the other hand, they are doing their exploration of the world. They're also learning new things. How is it that you're going to deny a thing when you haven't found out everything about it? How is it that you're going to deny it? Even science will say that our conclusion can't be final until we do further investigation, if they've got further investigation to do. The point here is, Allah Azza wa Jal has given all of those scientists and everyone else their knowledge. Even their knowledge, the studies, Allah has given that. Because Allah has said in the Holy Quran, وَيُعَلِّمُكُمْ مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 152. Allah said, وَيُعَلِّمُكُم مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ 151. He will teach you those things that you do not know. عَلَّمَكُم مَا لَمْ تَعْلَمُوا آبَاءَكُم. Allah said that He has taught you those things that not even your forefathers knew. Who is that? That is the Aleem, that is the one who teaches. Now once He teaches us that knowledge, Allah says in the Holy Quran that this person can now become arrogant with his knowledge. There's a big danger. And Allah reminds us in the Quran, in Surah Yusuf, there's a beautiful ayah there. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Above every person of knowledge is another more knowledgeable person. This is humbleness. Above every person of knowledge is another person of knowledge. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu salam, he said that. About why he recognized himself. And Allah Azza wa Jal said that in the Quran. Their recognition was that no matter how knowledgeable you become, you do not become the most knowledgeable person on the earth. Even if you become that, there's always a person more knowledgeable than you. Now to give you an example, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and Sayyidina Khidr, they are traveling. So here you have Sayyidina Musa traveling with Khidr. Why is he traveling with Khidr? Is because Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu salam, once he was asked a question by his people. So one person asked him a question. He said, "O Musa, who is the most knowledgeable person on the earth right now?" So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he thought for a while, and he thought, well, I am the Rasul on the earth at this moment, and there can't be anyone who knows more than a Rasul. So he said, I am the most knowledgeable person on the earth right now. When he said that, Allah wanted to teach him that for فَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ, above everyone who knows, there's someone who knows more. So he said, "O Musa, now you must travel to learn. I'm going to make you a student. You think you're the biggest teacher? I'm going to make you a student right now." So Allah Azza wa Jal, I know it's a long story, I'm not going to get into the whole story. But He makes him find Khidr, and this is in the Quran, it's also in Sahih Bukhari. He makes him find him, and then he has his 3 different incidents. But when he's gone on to his first incident, and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam is on the boat, and Sayyidina Khidr is also on the boat. When they're on the boat, there's a bird that comes and sits at the edge of the boat. And that bird just takes a small sip of water from the ocean. Small sip. Just a couple of sips. Or take something out, and then from there, couple of drops drop down. So Sayyidina Khidr says, now this is the person who knows a lot more than Musa alayhi salam. But Musa alayhi salam knows a lot as well. Musa alayhi salam knowledge is all to do with the seen world, the things that you can see. And Khidr alayhi salam, his knowledge is with the unseen world. So the knowledge Allah gave Khidr, He didn't give Musa, and the knowledge that Allah gave Musa, He didn't give Khidr. And then Khidr says, when he sees the bird, he says, "Oh Musa, do you see the amount that this bird has taken from the ocean?" He said, that amount that the bird has taken from the ocean is my knowledge and your knowledge put together. Compared to the rest of the knowledge which Allah has, compared to that water which the bird took, the rest of the ocean is Allah's knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jal has that knowledge. So our knowledge, my whole knowledge of this whole world of the unseen, and yours with the seen world, both together still makes just a drop from a whole ocean of Allah Azza wa Jal, His knowledge. So وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ, above everyone who has knowledge is another person who has more knowledge. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He taught that to Musa alayhi salam. And every person who knows this principle and who knows the principle of not surrounding all knowledge becomes humble. That is why Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he said, كُلَّمَا ازْدَدْتُ عِلْمًا ازْدَدْتُ جَهْلًا. He said, every time I increase in knowledge, I increase in ignorance. Now that's a contradiction. How can you increase in knowledge and carry on getting more and more knowledge, but at the same time become more and more ignorant? So Imam Shafi explains, what did he mean by that? He said, every time I learn something, I also learn that I never knew this just a moment ago. Yesterday I never knew this. This new knowledge that I got today, I never knew this knowledge yesterday. Or did I know it yesterday? I didn't know yesterday. So yesterday, it shows that yesterday I was a jahil. Yesterday I was an ignorant person. And today I've learned this fine, but there are so many other things that I don't know. And therefore I am ignorant of all the other things that I've learned. I haven't learned yet. And every time I discover something new, it makes me know and recognize that Allah Azza wa Jal is only the one who knows the most. And who knows everything. Who knows everything. And I am the one who's just discovering a few parts here and there. So this is one thing for us to become humble. Now, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam, he summed it up to Allah. He said, Rabbana innaka ta'alamu ma nukhfi wa ma nu'lin. This is in Surah Ibrahim. He said, oh our Lord, you are the one who knows. Your knowledge is what? Ma nukhfi wa ma nu'lin. The things that we kept secret and we hid, and the things that we displayed and we made apparent, both of those things you know. Both of those things you know. Allah Azza wa Jal has called the Day of Judgment, He has said, يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرِ, the day when all secrets will be revealed. All secrets will be revealed. And Allah has said about the Day of Judgment, يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Allah knows the deception of the eyes when they sin, and Allah also knows that which is hidden in the heart. And this is a fearful ayah, because the times that we deceive ourselves by looking at something which is haram, Allah Azza wa Jal reminds us and He says that He is the one who knows that already. So for us is tawbah, and for us is to wipe that away before we come to Allah Azza wa Jal. He also knows, Allah knows the knowledge that we have acted upon, and the knowledge that we haven't acted upon. And Allah also knows that, and He's the one who makes us remember from the knowledge that is given. Allah has said, سَنُقْرِئُكَ فَلَا تَنْسَى إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ. We will recite, or make this be recited unto you, O Prophet. فَلَا تَنْسَى, but you will not, O reciter, فَلَا تَنْسَى, you will not forget anything from this illa ma sha Allah, except that Allah wills that you forget it. What does that mean? That means that when somebody has knowledge and they don't practice that knowledge, Allah Azza wa Jal can make them forget that knowledge. When somebody practices the knowledge that they've been given, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he says, Man amila bima alima warathahu Allahu ilman bima la ya'lam. He says, and this is a sahih hadith, he says, whosoever practices upon the knowledge that Allah Azza wa Jal gave them, then Allah will give them such knowledge that they never even knew. And this is automatically Allah will give knowledge. Automatically Allah will make it easy for people to learn something that they never ever knew before. It will just automatically come in their heart. Allah will make them learn. This is known as ilmul ladunni. This is known as ilm which Allah gives, which is specific knowledge that Allah gives to a human being. And Allah can give it to anyone. Allah can give it to anyone He wants. The secret behind that is to practice upon the knowledge that one already has. So therefore, the dua that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has taught us is, Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una. O Allah, benefit me, make me take benefit from the knowledge that you have already given me, and teach me that which will be beneficial to myself. See, what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in dua has done is that he's connected knowledge to benefit. So, O Allah, infa'na, benefit me, bima 'allamtana, with what I've already learned. Make me take benefit from that by acting upon it. وَعَلِّمْنَا مَا يَنْفَعُنَا, and teach me that which will be beneficial. Why? Because you can acquire knowledge that will not be beneficial to you at all. Every moment someone, or every day someone learns something new. And there are people who learn something new that is beneficial to them, and there are people who learn something new that is a total waste of time to them. There are people I know, and I'm sure you will possibly relate to this. There are people who will watch things on the TV, on the satellite, on YouTube, whatever it is, they will watch. And they've seen one thing, they want to see things that are related to them, and they're getting no new knowledge whatsoever that's going to benefit them. Now don't forget, they're learning. It's not that they're not learning, they're learning. But the question is, are they actually benefiting themselves with that knowledge? And they watch, for example, they've watched, maybe they're watching some cars racing or whatever it is, and they will watch something next to that, another F1 Formula racing, and they will watch another racing one next to that on YouTube, and they'll watch another clip and another clip and another clip, and maybe by that time they've diverted a little, and they're now watching something that is to do with boxing, maybe still sports, so they watch something else. Then they probably ended up watching something about animals in the jungle, or maybe they come back to seeing something that people are doing as a hobby or a thing, and they've spent 2 to 3 hours on YouTube flicking through different videos, and at the end of that, whatever they learn, it's going to benefit them by nothing. Nothing in their life is going to benefit them from all the things that they've seen. So they've seen all of this. They've learned all of this, whatever they saw with their eyes, and whatever they comprehended with their minds. But it's not going to be beneficial. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us to say, وَعَلِّمْنَا مَا يَنْفَعُنَا وَعَلِّمْنِي مَا يَنْفَعُنَا. O Allah, teach me or teach us that which will benefit us. Now, to Allah Azza wa Jal, وَإِلَيْهِ يُرْجَعُ الْأَمْرُ كُلُّهُ. To Allah returns everything. There's certain knowledge. Now please let me just say this here. Allah has knowledge of everything. There's certain knowledge that is very dangerous. There's certain knowledge that you don't want to even go into. For example, if you start using your ilm, and you start using your capacity to learn and to know things, and you delve into qadr, you delve into the things and fate and predestination, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to, like Sayyidina Ali said, he said, Bahrun Amiq Taghraq. He said, it's a very deep ocean, you will get drowned in it. So there's no point of going through that knowledge. There are certain knowledges in the world, absolutely corruption. For example, the knowledge of learning how to do black magic is in Surah Baqarah. Surah Baqarah, Allah said He sent 2 angels to the earth, and He said that He will teach them. Why did they come? They came to show them the difference between a prophet's miracles and magic of the magicians. They wanted to teach them the difference. They wanted to say, look, this is how magic works, and this is something that you can replicate. But what the messengers are doing, you can't replicate. You can't do. Therefore, that's why it's called a miracle. So they had to come down to the earth and teach them. In the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, they had to teach them that, look, this is how magic works. And the moment they taught them how magic works, they told them, don't do this, but I was just teaching you how to do it. But when you tell people don't do it, what do? They want to do it. So they started to learn that, and they started to propagate. And then they did it for reasons that were unlawful. يُفَرِّقُونَ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. They started to split a husband from his wife through black magic and so on. This is knowledge on the earth, but this is corrupted knowledge. That's why straight after that Allah said, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُم. They are learning things that are really harmful to them and not beneficial to them at all. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Allah said it's such a bad thing that they've bought into their own hands. And Allah said they have started to learn. He said وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا. They learn. لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ, or they know. مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. If only they knew that, what they have taken for themselves, it's going to give them no benefit in the akhirah. They've got no portion of it in the akhirah that will benefit them. Allah says, لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, if only they knew. Now first Allah said they're learning, وَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ, they're learning all of this knowledge of black magic. Then Allah said after that, لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, if only they knew. First Allah said they know, وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا, they do know this. And then Allah said, if only they knew. Why did Allah do this? Because some of these magicians, they knew that this was the wrong thing to do, but they carried on doing it. Allah first established knowledge for them, and then He said they have no knowledge. If only they knew. Why did Allah do that? Because when a person doesn't learn beneficial knowledge, and they're learning something that will harm others, and perhaps harm themselves, that to Allah is no knowledge at all. That to Allah is no, that's why He said, لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, if only they knew. This is in the Quran. So when people hoard knowledge, one thing today is to hoard knowledge, either on paper or on, CDs, DVDs, drives, microchips and libraries and books, whatever. Hoard the knowledge. To Allah Azza wa Jal, if the person doesn't act upon that knowledge, uses that knowledge, then that is, Allah has said, كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا. It's like a donkey that will have a whole load of pages on his back. Allah said that in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, 62nd Surah of the Quran. So Allah said, مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةَ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوا. Those who picked up, those who were given the burden or who were given the responsibility of the Torah, and to implement that, and to tell others about that, and to teach others about that, and they didn't do it. ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا. They didn't then take the responsibility seriously. Allah says they are like donkeys who have pages on their backs. They are people, they are scholars who know knowledge. Allah talked about the rabbis of the past. But the same thing applies to the Muslims. If Muslims have scholars, or they have knowledgeable people who just want to hoard knowledge, and they're brilliant at speaking the knowledge, brilliant at telling you what the sources are, and how this ayah relates to that ayah, and tafsir, and hadith, and tajweed, and fiqh, and the guy is allama. He knows so much, you call him allama, the most knowledgeable scholar around, but his amal, his action is zero, or it's down there, plummeting down there. He prays fine, but then he doesn't pray, and he doesn't act upon all his knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jalla has said, may Allah save me and save you from such people. Allah has said, كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ. They are like a donkey that has pages. Now, if you give a whole load of pages and you put it onto a donkey, what does the donkey know about the pages? All the donkey is doing is carrying that knowledge on its back until to another place where the knowledge will be given away to somebody else. So these scholars in Allah's eyes, all they're doing is they've taken from their ustad, their teacher, and they're carrying it to certain students. That teacher, they took it off, he benefited from it. This scholar, the allama who knows so much, he took it, he carries it like the donkey, he doesn't benefit himself, and he gives it to the other people. They benefit. The new students of his, they benefit. The ustad of it, his teacher, he benefited. Or his teachers, they benefit. In between, there's this person Allah calls a donkey. Allah says he doesn't benefit from it. He's just a donkey that's carrying the knowledge from one to another. That's all his job is. That's all he's doing. He's doing nothing more than that. Now that should wake us up, in the sense that the knowledge that I've got, to practice upon that. Now I will tell you brothers, and I will tell you sisters that are listening, knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jal is vast. You can learn, and you can learn, and you can learn, and you can learn till you get to your qabr, to your grave. And if you wanted to carry on learning the knowledge that Allah has put on this earth, and you've got the chance in your grave to learn, you can learn until the Day of Judgment. And you can carry on learning all the way till you get to Jannah or Jahannam, whatever it is, right? But you will never be able to finish the knowledge on this earth. That's how much there is to learn. So what do we have to do? We have to become now wise in what we choose to learn and what we choose not to learn. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, one of his duty was يُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابِ. He will teach the book, fine, but then he will teach wisdom, the application of knowledge. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, where to put that knowledge. So when I've learned what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, for me to know what to do in life, what not to do, for me to know how to how and when to apply my knowledge, that is hikmah, that is wisdom. So every prophet came with wisdom, with the knowledge that they actually possessed. Now Allah Azza wa Jal, having His knowledge, Inna rabbaka yafsilu baynahum yawm al-qiyamah, Allah has said, on the day of judgment, I will make it absolutely clear to you, between all the things that you used to dispute about, all the things. So there's certain things that I don't understand today. I shouldn't break myself, make myself feel miserable because of the fact that I don't know this. No. Allah Azza wa Jal, He will reveal everything on the Day of Judgment. His knowledge will be displayed on the Day of Judgment. Anything that didn't make sense will make sense. There are so many questions people have. Some of these questions I've already covered in previous things, but for example, when Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows exactly what's going to happen on the Day of Judgment. He knows what my inside was. He knows what my history was. He knows what every single choice that I made was. When Allah Azza wa Jal said, knows all of that, but then at the same time, He doesn't do dhulm. He doesn't commit oppression. So when Allah doesn't commit oppression, and He knows everything I've done, end of the day, when I get to Him on the Day of Judgment, He's already declared to me in the Quran, there's going to be no excuse for you on the Day of Judgment. The only thing you can have is my forgiveness and my mercy. So I can't sit here and start to deny Allah or make myself feel miserable because there's a knowledge that I don't understand. How is it that Allah knows all about me and my future, and He doesn't want to stop me from going to Jahannam? How is it that He's going to, on the Day of Judgment, this will happen, that will happen? When I was a person that had this unfortunate thing on the world and that unfortunate miserable thing, I was restricted with this thing and that thing. All of that will leave to Allah Azza wa Jal, and He will explain to us on the Day of Judgment. So one last thing with Al-Aleem, or the fact that Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows everything, is the case that I am going to take knowledge from whatever I can beneficial from Allah Azza wa Jal and from the best sources that I can find. And please don't think that only the Quran and Sunnah have beneficial knowledge. Beneficial knowledge is anywhere in the world. Anywhere. It could be in science, it could be in maths, it could be in English. These are all beneficial. If it wasn't beneficial, if these weren't beneficial, if this wasn't beneficial, yeah? أتكلم معكم الآن بالعربية وأكثركم معظمكم لا تفهمون كلامي. If Arabic was the only beneficial thing, and if Quran was the only beneficial, then let me speak Quran, let me speak Arabic to you. Most of you wouldn't understand. But I've used the English language for you to understand, yes or no? I've used this English language for you to understand. So English language has a benefit. Maths has a benefit. History has a benefit. All the knowledges of beneficial knowledge across the world whatever they have, they're beneficial, and they are knowledge which Allah Azza wa Jal has given us to learn. So bear that in mind as well. There are certain people who can't accept, they think that Quran, Sunnah, that's it, nothing more. No, there's so many things out. Yes, Quran, Sunnah is very good, but outside of that, there are loads of other beneficial knowledges. For example, this chair I'm sitting on, it's a whole knowledge how to make the chair. It's a whole knowledge of craftsmanship. It's a whole knowledge. Art is a knowledge. All these things we need in the world. The next name we cover is Al-Qabid. Al-Qabid. And with that comes the name Al-Basit. Al-Qabid is to make something be restricted. Al-Basit is something to be expansive. Al-Qabid is when Allah closes things, and Al-Basit is when Allah opens things. In a hadith, it is said that Allah is Basitul Yadaini bir Rahmah. Allah is one who is opening both His arms with mercy for people to do tawbah to Him. So it doesn't mean that Allah Azza wa Jalla has two hands here, two arms. Please don't try and make a figure of God in your head. It's just a form of expression for us to understand. The way that I might just go like this to you, so I'm opening my arms to you for exception. It's just a form of expression. That's all it is. So anyway, Allah Azza wa Jalla is Basit in the sense that He opens, and Qabid that He closes. Allah has said in the Holy Quran, يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Allah can open anyone's provisions and He can make it expansive and He can give you a lot more and more and more. But at the same time, yaqdir, He can restrict you whenever He wants. Or the word qabid, Allah is the one that can hold onto something. One of the things that has been mentioned in the Quran about qabid is Surah Az-Zumar. Surah Az-Zumar. And in there, qabdatuhu yawm al-qiyamah. Allah Azza wa Jal, He will have the whole of the heavens and the earth within His grasp. Within His grasp. Now again, it's not that He's got a hand like me, whatever. Within His control. Within His grasp, meaning within His control. And Allah Azza wa Jal has got that, and He will restrict that. So on the Day of Judgment, you will not find the openness that we've got right now. You can basically, you've got skies, you've got heavens. Oh no, Allah will make one platform. And He will have all of that, and He will open it whenever He wants. He will lock it up when He wants. Okay? Now one of the things is with a person's rizq, mainly this has been used, bast and qabd, with person rizq, provisions. Another thing it's used is with, specifically with the person's wealth. Allah can release it, Allah can hold it back, Allah can close it, Allah can open it. Another one is with the qalb. The ulama have said with the qalb. So with the heart, sometimes it opens, sometimes it closes. For example, let me give you an example, and this is very important to understand. Sometimes you will feel that you want to do ibadah, you love to do ibadah. You're really enjoying it. This is bast. This is when Allah's opened it for you. And sometimes you're there trying to enjoy it and you don't enjoy it. This is qabd. This is when Allah's restricted it. And it happens to every single person. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu anhu, he has said that to every single person this will happen. Every person it happens to. So he said when it opens, he said take full advantage. Full advantage of that. When you're enjoying it, take full advantage. But other times Allah will close it. Why? He wants to test you. He wants to see whether you're going to carry on. Because if Allah opened it, if Allah gave you enjoyment, me enjoyment, and we really every time we're enjoying doing His ibadah, who's going to stop? Tell me, who's going to stop? For Allah to test us whether we would like to do that ibadah or not, He has to be qabid. He has to restrict that and close that. Then when I'm not enjoying it, Allah wants to see if I wake up for Fajr. Allah wants to see if I will try my best to read my salah with khushu. Will I pick up the Quran and do some tilawah because I'm not getting that enjoyment. Before, they come to me again and again, they say, Imam, I used to really enjoy listening to the Quran. And I used to find it so sweet and I could listen on hours on. And now I'm not getting that same feeling inside me. Well, a clear explanation is qabd. And after a little while, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, there's going to be bast. Allah's going to open it again. And then He'll close it and open it and close it and open it. And each time He's testing us to see which one of us does it. Now it's not whether, some people think that now maybe Allah's angry with me, maybe I'm far away from Allah, maybe Allah doesn't love me. No, it's not that. It's not that at all. For you to know that Allah is loving you, is the fact that you're continuously doing it. Whether your heart opens to it or whether you feel a restriction, for the fact is that you are doing it constantly in all days, whether it's sunny, whether it's rainy, you're always doing it, you're doing your ibadah for Allah, that is a sign that Allah loves you. But if you suddenly say that when I enjoy it, I'm going to do it, and when I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to do it, that's not a sign that Allah loves you. So this is to do with Allah Azza wa Jal being the Qabid and being the Basit. And in many other things, Allah Azza wa Jal can expand and He can open, whether it's armies of the world, whether it's dynasties of the world, or it's closing them, whether it's countries, whether it's assets, whether it's mal, whether it's something, belongings that you have, whether it's family, whether it's relatives, Allah Azza wa Jal can expand and He can close as well. Jazakumullahu khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So we've come to the name Al-Qabid, Al-Qabid, Al-Basit. Both of those we've covered. Next week we will start from Al-Khafid, Al-Rafi', and we will move on from there inshallah azza wa jal. Please try and remember these names. I'll see you inshallah next week around the same time. Jazakumullah khair.